we start what we're gonna do basically now, I would like to show you something more. If you remember, we spoke about this. I just will recall it now. I think it's important for you to, for some of you at least. Okay. Now, what I want one person from the class. You guys, you know yourself better. One person of the class to collect the information for people who wants to use it. Now, as I mentioned, since I'm having access to as a certified trainer for the Cisco courses. Well, by the way, Mr. Hamid, who is the higher authority here for the Cisco, okay, and Cisco certified, CCNA certified trainer could provide you with all of this. I mean, Miss Aida and myself, we are certified into the section of the IT Essentials. So what we could provide it to you with, guys, basically, I could provide you with access to all of these courses, meaning IT Essential, which is for A+, okay? Introduction of Internet of Everything, IoT fundamentals, and introduction to cybersecurity as well, and so on and so forth. How to use the packet tracer. Well, by the way, this one Mr. Hamid would provide you together with the access to the whole CCNA curriculum, the 4 parts. Okay, I don't have access, and this either we don't have access to this one. But also we could show you the we have 4 Linux courses access: NDG Linux, Linux 1, Linux 2, and Linux Essentials. We have access to C++, Python, and C. Now, when I'm talking about this, let me just show you how it looks when you open either a programming course or a Linux course. Let me just show you so you to understand what I'm talking about. So if I go and open a Linux course, let's say, let's open this one. And if I go to my lab, there are labs, there are lessons there, and so on and so forth. When I say I, that means for you as well, if you're logged in there. So if I go to the modules, and if I go, let's say, chapter 4, lab 04, okay? And if I go on a different window here, what you're gonna see, guys, you see everything what you need to do. They explain why you do it, and here's the command you could do. And on the right side, as you see, you have the command line interface, so you don't need to install anything. Well, it's the same with the programming languages. If you're gonna learn Python or C and stuff like that. Now, right away, for the next 6 to 7 months, I would provide any person who wants here, I would provide with access to A+. So I might provide you with access to A+, to Linux Essentials, to C, and to Python. It's completely free. You don't need to pay anything. You just need to send me your first name, your last name, and your email address. Now, when I say you need to send me, what I want from you guys is one person to collect every one's of you in a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, whoever wants, wherever. So you say, Arsen Grozdanov, Grozdanov.com, let's say, wants A+, Linux, and Python. Okay? So you have several columns in the spreadsheet, and you send it to me. Now, the other access which I might provide you with to the end of the year. So this one is roughly for 7 months. You're gonna have access to this one. Afterwards, I'm gonna renew it for another year. Okay? So you could do all the exercises, all the exams, whatever you want. You could do it as many times as you want. So to work online. As I said, for Linux, for C, and for Python, you also have the integrated development environments right away into the browser. Okay. Now, the other thing I could provide you with, the program which is called VBox term. I showed it to you once. Let me show it again. It's a very nice program which helping the people to work remotely. This guy. For the networking engineers, it's very important to have something like this. You know, you open remote desktops. Well, let's open another remote desktop, actually. on another computer, you just guys to see how it looks. So as you see, you could have organized all of your important bookmarks, as you see, in the way of the kind of folders and stuff like that. We have a full license, which is for educational purposes, but full from VBox term, which you could use either at home or here in the school. And I could provide you with the mobile version. I'm using the portable version of this, which means you have it on your USB. You don't need to install it. Okay, here it is. I could have even the remote desktop RDP of, here it is. Okay. As you see, you could organize and you could work on a very, very nice way using all of this. So I could provide you with the VBox term portable version for you guys to use it here or at home. VBox term portable. So if someone wants it, just add it here to this list. Okay. And the last thing for now, which I could provide you with as well, if you want, is the access to the Amazon AWS services educational license, meaning to the end of the year, okay, to the 31st of December, you have access to this, and you get the people who want to get it, you have a credit of $30. It's for free. All of this is free. You just need to speak with one person to organize all of this in Excel sheet and send it to me. As soon as I receive it, I'll do it right away. I don't want to receive emails from everyone because I'm getting more than 300 people working in the moment in different facilities, and I'm going to get paid. Okay? If you send me a simple file, say, sir, that's our file, that's what we want, these are the people, this guy wants this guy wants that. It's very easy to do that. Boom, 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 and you get it right. The Amazon services, after the in the beginning of the next year, I'm going to apply for 6 months for $100. Okay, and they will be able, because we trying to do an academy here. And meanwhile, I'm trying to access also and to contact the Azure, Microsoft Azure, so our students can have access to both. And to because as I mentioned to you, the telephony thing, the most important thing nowadays for these guys is the cloud organization. So you need to run the cloud. Okay, so choose someone who will be the root user, the root device here. This person to organize everything in Excel file, send it to me, you're going to have access to whatever you want. Fair enough? Good enough? So this is the thing what I wanted to say. So let me put it here just for a second, you guys to see it on the movie as well. Okay, here it is. Now, in terms of the virtualization, what we've been talking, guys, here, the hypervisor type 1, the hypervisor type 2, and I explain you the virtual box, what it is. Let me show you very briefly a hypervisor type 1. So you to know what it is. The VMware vSphere. Remember, I told you the last time when we were into the server room, I showed you 2 computers, and I said these 2 computers, they have all of them installed. They have all of them installed the hypervisors, and these hypervisors consists of virtual machines inside. Okay, so that's how it looks actually. Let me show you, because afterwards you're gonna see how it looks into the virtual box, and you're gonna realize it's not very different. Now, what I need to do though is just to find out my password. This is very nice. This is very nice program to have. You could have it also. You might have it also portable. I'll show it to you right away how to get there. It is called the program is called KeePass. So it would organize all of your passwords. Here it is. What you need to download if you not this one. KeePassword, this one. When you go to the download features, well, it's better to use the 2424, not 136. Both of them are stable, but use this one and use the portable one if you want. Okay, it's very easy to use. That's a good one to organize all of your passwords and stuff like that. And just give me a sec to find out here. Okay. So I could find out my passwords very easily here. And even without doing anything with these passwords, I just might copy and paste them. So if I click on this VMware thing, okay, that's the console with me to access the vSphere client, which will give me access to the virtual machines. Okay, I'm gonna, let me go to the vSphere, that's the facility, copy the username, there it is. I could copy the password now, here it is. Do login, and you're gonna see how a hypervisor type 1 looks like right away actually. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the vSphere center, which will show me all of these guys. As you see, that's the IP address of this one. I might go to another IP address, which we have both of them on this facility. This one will be this one. Okay, oops. So what we do now again, we're gonna copy the password. We'll open this one too. Well, basically, I might open them. I might open them on here how it looks. Okay, this is, as you see, 172.24.0.200, and the other one which I opened before this is 200.0.1. Now, if I would have access to something which is called vSphere, vCenter, well, basically, I'm gonna see all of these 7 computers all together in the 2 different hosts. Okay, because I don't have access to this, I cannot see it. But otherwise, I might see what I just showed you here, plus including the other campus we have on the matrix. So I might see all of this together, but I don't have access to this one. Okay, but that's how this is how virtualization, let's say type 1, looks like. If I would like to open a computer to see, let's say this one, if I do open the console, it might open it, and here it is. You see, it shows me the computer, and I could access it without any problems. Basically, I could go here. I could switch the user. I could put my credentials here. So Control Delete. Oops. I might send the thing. Send Control Delete. Here it is. Assign Grosdanos profiles here. If I do like that. And you're gonna realize, guys, wherever, here it is, I'm accessing. Okay, I'm accessing the computer, which is within this environment, apparently. Okay, so we're gonna start working now on how to install on a VirtualBox, a Windows computer, and afterwards a Linux computer. And you're gonna realize, guys, it's very, very simple. Okay, questions? Questions, guys? If there are no questions, then let me close this guy. Now, what you need to open is to click on the Start button. Once again, because I'm using Windows 10, I'm seeing it a little bit differently. For you, you're gonna see the black screen. You could start writing down. It is not necessarily to go and to click on the search. It will start writing down directly into the search when you start doing it. So you write down like this. You write down virtual, and it will show you the Oracle's VirtualBox. You click on it, and it will open the hypervisor, or also called virtual hosts, because it's hosting the guests or the virtual machines which will be here. Okay, on the virtual host or the hypervisor, we're going to create our virtual guests or virtual machines, and then we're going to create our virtual infrastructure. Now, here how it looks. Something important for this guy, if I click on the file here and the preferences, basically I'm going to see all the important thing about this hypervisor. Okay, for all the virtual machines which are inside, I'm going to see for the hypervisor, for the virtual host, I'm going to see the important thing about this. 2 important things. Once again, I'm doing a video at the moment. That's why I'm talking a little bit faster, so you could watch it after this. Okay. Now, first important thing here is the general option. The general option shows me where my virtual machines will be created in this environment. So if I open my file manager as well, you see by default they will be created on C, users as we spoke, where the user's profile are, the username which is my profile, and something which is called VirtualBox empty space VMS, which stands for virtual machines. So let's go there. This PC, C, users, A Grozdanov. That's for me. For you will be your username. Well, as you see, there is no such thing now. Why? Because there is no virtual machine created. Okay. So as you see, there is no folder like this, but it will be. Now, the important thing to know is if you would like to do it somewhere else, you just click on the drop down, you go to other, and you put it wherever you want. Okay. If you have a USB, or if you would have a separate disk or separate partition, well, you might create them. And every machine you're gonna start, because that's the important one for this, as we said, VirtualBox preferences. That's for the whole hypervisor. All the virtual machines from this moment on, they will be created on this place where you're gonna do. Okay. I don't recommend people to create this on USBs, because the computers are old, as well as you don't know on which computer you're gonna plug your USB. Okay, if you start more than one machine at the same time from a USB, it will be painlessly slow. Okay, it will be very, very slow. That's why if you need to move a virtual machine from this computer to another computer, just copy the file. You're gonna see where it is. Work on it at home, then bring it back and work on it at home. I wouldn't recommend you changing this one, but if you want, you could. The other one, very important, guys, in here in the network. As you see, it says NAT network, so I'll explain you a little bit after what is a NAT network and how it works and why we don't use this one. But if you don't click on the plus sign now, then you're gonna have problems. So you click on the plus sign and you create at least one of these. If you would like to create more, well, here it is. It will create it with different name. If you decide at a certain point you don't want to do anything with this, well, you just click on the second icon, which has the cross on it. It will ask you, do you want to really remove it? Yes, and it's back. But you need to have at least one NAT network created, so afterwards to work. The third one, which is very important, is the extension pack. The VirtualBox, the extension pack, is giving a lot of features without which the VirtualBox won't work. Okay, so the extension pack is very, very important. A little bit further, I'm going to show you another hypervisor, which is called the VMware Player. And it has something else which plays like the extension pack, which is very, very important too. Okay, so any platform, even this one which I showed you, it has kind of extension pack. Okay, any virtualization has this type of thing. Maybe it's called different. So you need to find it when you're working with the virtualization platform, and to be sure it's up to date with the hypervisor itself. Okay, now I see these guys here. I could install another one. If I click on plus, it will ask me where it is, and I could install it. Now, for you guys, if you would like to install something here, because your user account has no enough rights, use the Cisco account, which I'm pretty sure they already provided you. So as soon as a pop-up window comes up asking you for credentials, choose the Cisco and the password for Cisco, and you're going to be able to install wherever you want. Use it only for wherever we install them. Don't install stupid thing. Okay? So once we check these three things, we click OK, and our hypervisor is ready to be used. Okay? Now, first I'm going to show you how to create the virtual machine very fast. Okay? And then I'm going to show you how to delete the virtual machine, the proper way to delete it. So click on the new, monitor also while we do this, while we installing, monitor the file manager, see how the folders will appear. I'm going to stress your attention on this as well. So you're going to see where you could find out after this your virtual machine when you're using the VirtualBox. I'll click on new. Now, there are two ways I'm seeing the wizard, the initial wizard. The first one is in guided mode. So this small one is the guided mode. If I click on expert mode, I'm going to see it a little bit more extended. Now, the only difference between both is that I'm going to click less when I'm in the extended mode. Otherwise, everything else will be, I will be using it even if I'm in this one. Okay, but it will be more clicks. So whoever which you're going to use, for you is optional. I'm going to use the expert mode because for me, just make more sense. I'll click Windows. I'll write down here the name of the machine which I'm going to create, Windows 8.1. And as soon as I write down, as you see, guys, it says Microsoft Windows, and it's finding the version of the Windows itself. But here for the name, I could use Beautiful Flower. I could use whatever I want, guys. No problem at all. But then I need to say what would be the version, Microsoft Windows, Linux, or the other four are Unixes, or other machines. And then let's say other, and then I could use DOS, QNX, I don't know even what is this. Okay, but I could use some of this if I would like to have this one. Okay, now it's much easier if you put a name which is saying something to the system. As you see, well, actually I could use it now, Microsoft Windows, and I'm going to choose the Windows 8.1 64-bit. Now another thing you need to know here on the version. If you click here on the drop down and you see only 32-bit version, that means is something wrong with your BIOS, which means you need to ask me or the teacher who is here to ask the technicians to come and to do something with your BIOS. Basically, they're supposed to start the virtualization in your BIOS. Most of the time, you might do it yourself. Our BIOS here is password protected. That's why you need the technician to come and to do it for you. Okay, that's why. Now, once I know which type and which version of the operating system I'm going to install, the next thing what I'm going to need to do is the memory side. I need to do the memory. Now, let's go and do it properly so you guys to see what we do now. Remember our server. I showed you our server. You do HTTP // in the browser, HTTP // Then you write down shared, and then you do / and you write down desktop. Okay, then you click enter. You enable the flash player. You allow the flash player to be enabled. You're gonna see how the computers, virtually how you could create a computer. Now what I would like to do here, the first several clicks on the bottom will show you how to use this thing, this feature. So I'll click several times. Then you see I could do everything virtually. Now what I'm gonna do at the moment, actually with the VirtualBox, what I'm trying to do now, I made the name. I know which operating system I'm gonna install. The next thing is me to put the random access memory or the RAM here. So if I click here on the motherboard layout, here my RAM. If I drag and drop it here on a real computer, and if I position it properly, and I click on this one, here what I'm doing, guys, I'm doing it virtually. Okay, I just pick up the RAM, I put it inside, and what I need to do also, as you see here, there are these small notches, or how they call it also, latches. I need to click on these latches here, the yellow thing, so they to close the RAM so it's to be properly installed. Okay, and first my first RAM is installed. If I would like to put the second one, here it is, the second one. Okay, I need to position it properly as well. I'll click on this one, oh, a little bit more, boof, and again on these latches, and my RAM has been installed. So I'm showing you guys what I'm doing on this computer, okay? Because I would like you to understand. Basically, I'm doing it virtually here on the VirtualBox, but you see how it looks in a real machine, okay? So now for me, 2048 gigs is a little bit less. So I might want to go a little bit more. We spoke what is gigabyte, what is megabyte, right? 2048 megabytes is 2 gigabyte, actually. 2 multiplied by 1024 is giving exactly 2 gigabytes. Well, I would like to go to 3. There are several ways to do this. Either clicking here one by one, which will be a lot of clicks, or just mark this and write down wherever it is, which will be 3072 for 3 gigabyte. Or the easiest way is to go a little bit ahead of this scroller and to click twice. You see, one, it's getting 512 megabytes. Again, one, and now it's 3072, what I need. The other thing you need to notice here, you see there is a green portion, there is a yellow portion or orange portion, and there is a red portion here. Which means, guys, you don't go to the orange and to the red. If you go to the red, you're going to experience an event which is called BSD. when you start your virtual machine, it will start taking resources out of the real machine more than the real machine to work, and you're gonna see the blue screen of death. Okay, your machine will crash. So that's why avoid getting to green. I mean, getting to orange, or especially to the red part, to the RAM. Now, another thing, you're always supposed to know how much RAM you have. Here it is, 16 megabyte of RAM I have on this machine. That's the total. Now, if I choose 3, it's perfectly now. It's perfectly okay. If I create another machine and I choose 3, it's still perfectly okay. If I create a third one and choose 3, well, it's perfectly okay too. If I create a fourth one and choose 3, perfectly okay. If I create fifth one, still 6, 7, 8, all of them are perfectly well. If I start all of them though, well, my machine will crash, because 7 multiplied by 3 is 21. I have 16 gigabytes. So always, guys, take into consideration your real machine supposed to have some resources, which most of the time would be 4 to 5 gigabytes. So don't get, if we say we're gonna go 6 gigabyte maximum, okay, and our machine will use, well, don't start machines with 10 gigabyte altogether, because it will crash the system, right? So as I said, that's what we do. We have our computer and we do it virtually, and we said always check how much resources your real machine has, okay? Because if you take more than the real machine, obviously it will crash, okay? So I choose a little bit more of RAM, so to be sure that the computer will work. The next thing what I'm going to do is to just click create. Now, keep in mind, if I would have created already the file, I would have seen that I could go and I could choose this file, and I could start it if it's already created. By the way, let me just see how it has been created. Users again, we go to my username, if you remember, and then I go. Well, as you see, still there is no Windows 8 machine here. You see now there is a .virtualbox folder created. In this one, you have some some files which are related to the log files and to the overall performance of the machine. So it's not very important in terms of of where the virtual machine, real virtual machine is. Now keep in mind, when I click create, watch what will happen now. I'll click create. Okay, you see VirtualBox VMS folder has been created. Just has been created. If I click twice on it, the Windows 8.1 with the same name has been created. You see this? Okay. If I click twice, there are no files inside. Actually, the real machine, when I create the real virtual machine, which I'm going to create, it will be a simple file inside. Okay. Now, I have the name. If I would like to change the location only for this machine, I'm doing it here. Remember, the other way to change it was for the file and the settings, and to change every machine to be created there. But if I would like to change the place where the file will be only for this particular one, I have access when I click on this small icon. Okay. The other thing, I need to choose here how much will be my hard disk. Here, how it looks in the real life. If I click internal drives, well, here's my hard drive. What I'm doing now, I'm just taking my hard drive, I'm positioning it, and I'm putting it inside. Oops. Okay, and then I need to connect it with the SATA cables, most probably to the motherboard, and as well as the Molex cables, which will go to the power supply, and my hardware drive will be operational. I could use it. Once again, RAM drives are called volatile memory or temporary memory. Why? Because after the reboot, it is lost, but it's very fast. That's why we use it. Okay, it's something which the computer uses for its memory to store inside. Okay, so volatile, temporary, and to do the processes for the processor. Okay, all the mathematical processes which are supposed to be stored somewhere temporary goes there, and we have other type of memory which is not temporary, which is constant memory, I would say. Well, these are the hard drives, the solid state drives, as well as we could use an optical drive for this. Okay, here's the optical drive. If I go to drives in external base, well, I could use an optical drive. Here it is. I'm gonna position it again. I'm gonna move it. Here it is. it's a DVD. I could put a Blu-ray, it could be DVD rewritable, it could be CD rewritable, and so on and so forth. If I would have want to use a floppy disk drive, remember the 3.5 floppies, disk here it is, I could position it properly as well, and I could put it inside as well. It's not very properly positioned, I guess. Here it is, and I could use a diskette as well if I want. But this is very old way, and you're gonna see then I'm gonna remove it because I don't need it basically now. So here how in the real computer it looks. Here what we do in a virtual. Now I need to choose how big will be my hard drive. Remember the hard drive which I did here, this guy, the hard drive. So 40 is a little bit for this operating system. I would choose here. I would click and delete 4, and I would put 50 gigabyte. Okay. Now dynamically allocated. That means when I click here, create, the hard drive would be created not 50 gigabyte. It will be created exactly what it is at the moment, but it will grow up to 50. If I choose fixed size, immediately 50 gigabyte out of my hard drive will be taken. I don't want this because, you know, I don't know when I'm going to get it. I'm not sure even if I will go to 50. So it's better to choose dynamically allocated all the time, meaning leave it like it is. Now, the VDI, VHD, VMDK, and so on and so forth, these are different types of virtual machines you would like to work with, in the meaning which hypervisor you're going to use. Now, the VDI is the virtual box image. That's what it's coming from. Virtual disk image, VDI. That's the default one, which is working defaultly with the virtual box. But you could work with others with the virtual box, as well as this one particularly, the second one, virtual hard disk, you could use in a hypervisor called Hyper-V. Every computing system, client and server after the version 8.1, including the 8.1, has ability the VHD to be accessed directly from the system, the Hyper-V to be installed directly. How you do this in Windows 8.1? Very easy. You go to the control panel. That's one of the ways. You just write down control panel. And then what you do here, you go to programs, and you go turn Windows features on or off. Okay? And afterwards, once this appeared, you find out Hyper-V. You click on this one, you check if everything here is checked also. So everything's supposed to be checked here. Okay? And that's one. That's what you do. You click OK, you wait a little bit, you might need to reboot, and you have Hyper-V, which means after this, if you create a virtual machine with VHD, you could directly use it within your computer. Now, a huge disadvantage, at least for now, Hyper-V doesn't work well with the virtual box or vice versa. That's why we don't have it activated on our computers. Okay? And virtual box, in this term of using for lab purposes, is a little bit more advanced, a little bit more giving us choices than the Hyper-V. That's why it's not installed. The Hyper-V is not installed because otherwise there are it's giving conflicts with VirtualBox, and it doesn't work well, the VirtualBox. That's the reason. But if you want, you could use it. VMDK is the other format which is working with the VMware products. Okay? And there are several ones which are working with the Linux default one, KVM, kernel virtual machine. How the kernel virtual machine looks like, here the kernel virtual machine. Let me show it right away. I open my MOBUX term. I'll go to this guy. That's one of my servers. It's as you see, it's a Linux one. It's a CentOS Red Hat family one. We're gonna go and install one. You're gonna see. And if I go applications, if I go system tools, well, utilities, I guess. Now, this one has no such. I'm sorry for this. Actually, I need to go to this one. Yeah, I'll go applications. System tools. It's very similar. It's very similar to you're gonna realize very similar to the virtual box. Now, by default, as I said, we're gonna choose the VDI always, as well as dynamically allocated. Now, monitor on the left side what will happen when I click on the create. Okay, here it is. My virtual machines has been created, and basically the virtual machine is this file. Okay, that's the virtual machine. As you see, it says virtual disk image. Okay. Now, let me show you very fast. If I create a new machine, just monitor what will happen now. If I create Ubuntu machine, Ubuntu, here it is. It shows it right away. It's a Linux. I'm going to choose a little bit more of RAM. I'll do create. You see now Ubuntu is created. Okay. And then if I go to the folder, I'm going to choose wherever I'm provided. But in that case, I'm going to choose the VMDK. Okay. Which stands for virtual machine disk. Okay, I'll click create monitor now. First of all, the icon is different, the color is different, right? Then I see 1,344 kilobytes. That's the machine, and as you see, it says virtual machine disk format, VMDK, right? If I go back just to check to my Windows 8.1, the icon is different, the size is different, as well as its virtual disk image, VDI. Okay, that's how I recognize them. Okay, now let me use the moment to show you how to delete a virtual machine, and I'm going to show you something else. Monitor the recycle bin now. Okay, I'll go and I'll delete the Ubuntu which I just created. So right click on the Ubuntu machine, remove, and I'll click delete all files. Monitor what will happen with Ubuntu here and what will happen with the recycle bin. Okay, I'll do delete all files. It doesn't prompt me anything. It's deleting everything. And as you see, my recycle bin is empty. Okay. Now, especially when we start working on some big projects and I ask you to do something and you decide, okay, I don't need this machine anymore, and you delete it. If you do it this way, you lose your job. Okay. So think twice or 3 times before deleting, because you see there is nothing into the recycle bin. If you do it this way, your 3-4 months of work is gone forever. So be very careful what you do. That's why I'm doing the movie and I'm showing you this. Be very careful how you're going to delete your virtual machines. Otherwise, you might lose them forever. Okay? Now, once we create the Windows 8.1 machine, we need to do some additional things. The first thing what I'm going to do is to click settings. Now, the settings, I already created the name, I know the type and the version. There is an optional option here, which is advanced. I might choose to share my clipboard bidirectionally and drag and drop bidirectionally. Both of this meaning when I create my virtual machine and I started, I could drag and drop stuff from my real machine to the virtual machine and vice versa, as well as I could copy, right click, copy and paste a Word document, let's say, and move it from my real machine to the virtual and vice versa. Okay, but that's an optional thing. You don't need to use it if you don't want to. Especially with the Linux, it doesn't work well, so only with Windows you could use it. In the systems, okay, now that's my RAM. If I would like to change it, I'm going to change something. These are the bootable devices. Remember, I put it here floppy. I put it here floppy. I put it here. I have a DVD. Here's my DVD. Once again, here's my DVD. Here's my floppy. Okay, now I'm not going to use a floppy, because the floppy no one is using nowadays. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just uncheck it. And while that's marked with the scroller on the right side, I'm going to move it to the bottom. So I don't need this guy. What will happen, I'm going to put in the next step, I'm going to put an optical ISO in the optical drive, a virtual ISO file, which will do the, like, using a real CD or DVD with the operating system. When I start the system, first it will check on the optical disk. It will find out the disk, my ISO file. We will boot from it. Then it will be a process of installing the operating system on the hard drive. After the installation, it will reboot. I will remove the ISO file or the CD, I will remove it. And the next time it reboots, it will find out my hard drive. It will see that there is an operating system installed, and it will start from the operating system. That's why the order here is very important. You see, it says boot order. First the CD to install the thing, and afterwards the hard disk to start from it when it's installed. Okay? Now, once that's done, the other tabs I don't show you because you don't need to know anything about them for now. On the display, it's a good idea always to be at the max. You see here there are green, orange, and red portions as well. Avoid being into the orange portion and especially into the red one. Always into the green. Storage. Now, you see Windows 8.1.vdi. Well, that's exactly this file. This is the file. That's what I'm seeing here. If I click on it, basically I'm going to see location, where it is. I know where is the location. Okay? And I'm going to see how big it is. But what is at the moment? 2 megabytes. If you remember, it was dynamically allocated. It will grow up to 50 gigabytes. Okay? And it says what is the extension, VDI. Okay? And it says to which operating system or what's the name of the thing is attached to. Now, I need to put my disk inside, my ISO file. Now, I need to click on this disk here. And on the right side, if you notice, it's changing what it shows. It shows again a small disk. I need to click on this small disk, and I need to choose my virtual optical disk. Now, let's speak a little bit about this. I'm going to download a program which is called Image Burn. Okay, here it is. If I go to the official Image Burn site, and I go to the download section of it, okay, and I go to the Mirror 7, which says provided by Image Burn itself. If I click on it, as you see, it will download very fast a small piece of software, and I'm going to show it to you now, right away. I'm going to install it actually, so you're going to see how it works very, very briefly. Okay, now I'm going to go to my download folder here. Here's the Image Burn. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click twice on it. It's a free software, very powerful one, which allows you guys from CDs to create images, from images to expand them on CDs, or to put it on USB, on vice versa. It's extremely, extremely powerful program in relation with the with the ISO images. I don't want this thing. As you're gonna see, guys, it will be installed very, very fast. Here it is. It's done. I'm gonna finish. The icon, here it is. That's the icon. Now, if I open this guy, it will open it. Here how it looks. That's the Image Burn. Now, write image file to a disk. So if I would have an image file, and nowadays you find out million of them out there, and if I would have a CD or DVD, well, very easy. You just drag and drop this thing. You click on this one, you choose which one is which one, and you have it on your CD. And if you would like to start this file from a real CD, well, that's the way. Or if you have the disk itself, which most of the time when you buy a computer, the provider will provide you with, okay, then if you would like to create an image out of this and then to use it on a virtual machine, here's how you could do it. You could verify the disk also if it's okay. Now, this is very cool. You could write files or end folder to a disk, or you could create image file or folders from files or folders as well. Okay, it's very, very nice. You could discover, and you have much more tools if you see here. It's a free software, extremely powerful for all these things. Okay, so I'm showing it. There are a million of these ones, but this one is very, very good. That's why I'm showing it to you guys. You could use it at home as well. It's free completely. So what we do basically, we took the image, we took the file, the CentOS, let's say, disk from somewhere, or Windows disk, Windows 8.1 disk. We use this program to write image, to create image file from the disk, which we have, and now we're going to use the image file. Now, all of my image files, if you remember, guys, I provided you with this thing. We changed it the last time. I'm going to write it down just to be sure everyone is on the same spot. You write down like that, // Then you write down shared and then backslash, and you put SMB share here. Okay, you click enter. When you prompt it, you put student with small letters and password welcome one with capital W. Because I did it already, well, I have it. And I'm gonna find out here the MS Windows 8.1 eval n, which says disk image file. I just right click on it. I'll do copy. And I'm gonna put it in my desktop here. Right click, and I'll do. Oops, I'm sorry. I'll do paste, not the image. And I'm gonna wait. This to be copied there. Now, it's not a problem to use it from the network, but I explained you the last time. If we start using it, 30 people start using it from the same network, eventually the network will crash. Okay, we don't want this. That's why we're downloading this file to our. We download this file to our desktop. It's understandable, I guess. Okay, that's why we do. And I would suggest you guys to copy this file to your desktop. The next thing you do once it's copied, basically what you need to do is to get here, as I mentioned, on the settings, to go to the storage, empty. Once you choose the empty, you're gonna see on the right side this small disk. You click on the small disk, choose virtual optical disk, go to your desktop or wherever you do, you click on the file and you do open. And the file will be there. Now, because the file is still not downloaded, as you see, that's why it's giving me the thing. So I'm gonna click cancel for now. I'm gonna wait until it's downloaded and I'm gonna do. The next thing which I need to do is to go to the network, and instead of using NAT, to click NAT network. Now, as you see, when I click here, there are several ways to use the network in the VirtualBox. Now, what I would suggest you guys is do not use the bridge adapter here in the class. Why? Because when you use the bridge adapter, you're gonna bridge your virtual network adapter to the real adapter of your machine. Meaning, wherever network we have in the moment, how we're gonna see this, click on the start button, write down CMD, and writing down here IP config, empty space /all. I need to do it properly, obviously. And as we said, we need to find out this one with the default gateway there. Then I'll click right on this thing here on the top, edit and mark so you guys to see. Now that's my IP address. That's the subnet mask. The default gateway here it is. I have a DHCP server which is working, which is giving me the IP address. I have the DNS servers, 2 of them, which is when I write down a name, they will resolve the name to an IP address. Okay, all of this information is here, guys. Now, if I choose a bridge adapter, this virtual machine will take an IP address from my DHCP server and will get an address from this network, meaning it will become a part of our real network, even though it's a virtual machine. And now, if we implement the DHCP server our own on this machine, and since you're going to be administrator on these machines, we could eventually see an effect which is called the DHCP poison, having 2 these DHCP servers working in the same network, which means they both will be killed, okay? Which means our network will be crashed. So it's a good idea to avoid this type of thing. Do not using the bridge adapter. That's the way. Even though it's very useful if you do it at home, okay? Because your machine will be part of a network right away and you're going to be able to experience everything like in the real machine, okay? But don't use it here, please. Don't use it because we're going to implement some services which might shut down our network. So bridge adapter, don't use here, please. That's one thing. Now, if we choose NAT, network address translation, as you know, guys, when we choose NAT, that means our we're going to have translated our IP address, which will get to our virtual machine, which will be on a different network. But there will be a network translation, which means we're going to have internet connection right away. We don't need to have then a firewall created or something else or router, which will provide us with internet. By default, using the NAT, we're going to have an internet. A big disadvantage is if you create a second machine right away, it will get the same IP address. Most of the time, the IP address is 10.02.15 by default. So all the virtual machine will get this IP address. which means if you try to connect them, they won't work. As you know, two identical IP addresses in the same network, it doesn't work. Okay, it's important to know this thing. Now, that's why we don't choose NAT. We choose NAT network instead, because what will happen in that case, we're going to have an internet by default, and our by default any computer we're going to create will be part of the same network, 210 by default, 10.0.2.0 with 24 or 255.255.255.0 subnet mask. We could change this obviously, and any one of them will have different IP address, which is very nice for us. We could connect and work together with them. That's the way. So that's the easiest way, you guys, to start working right away. Now, if you choose internal network, well, they won't be created to, they won't be connected to internet. There will be no internet at all. You need to implement a firewall or a router, so eventually you to get to the internet from the real machine, as well as you need to put your IP address manually inside. Okay, with the NAT network, it will be taken dynamically, which is not bad. You learn how to do it, but in our case, for now, it's better to have it dynamically allocated. And the host-only adapter is the same thing. Now, the difference between both of them, when we start using the GNS3, you're gonna realize that is using the host-only adapter for the GNS3. Okay, so that's why we use it. Well, actually, it will go to the generic drive. Okay, that's where we go. The host-only in the internal network, I'm not very sure what the both is the difference. It looks exactly like the internal network. And not attached, obviously, is if you don't want to have any adapter. Monitor something else. You could have up to 4 adapters. You just need to enable the second, the third, and the fourth one, which is good if you're gonna create, let's say, a computer with more adapters. So this computer to act as a router. Okay. So we choose the NAT network. As you see, my download of my file has been done. My file, it's already in my desktop. I could see it on my desktop here, my ISO file. Okay. And with this ISO file now, I could go and I could click on the storage, empty, go to the CD, choose VirtualBox, go to desktop. Here's the ISO file, open. And as you see here, it's there. If I would like to remove it, click on this, remove the disk from the VirtualBox. Whoop, and it's done. If I would like to add it, well, it's already there. As a cache, I could directly click on this one and it will be there. I'll click OK, and I'll start the installation of my virtual machine. That's all for the working with VirtualBox. That's what it is. If I would like to remove these messages, if I click on the cross, it will be removed for the recent section. If I click on the KU here, which is, as you see, scratched, it won't appear anymore, this message. I'll click on it on the KU and again, and this messages never will show. The initial installation of Windows 8, basically when any operating system you install, you're gonna realize the same thing will be done. It's just looking differently, and sometimes there is a different sequence. That's all. If you're gonna install Unix, if you're gonna install Linux, if you're gonna install Windows, anytime you're gonna be asked to create a computer, you need to be able to choose where the operating system will be installed, and you need to be asked for the name of the computer and the user or the super user who will be using this computer. That's all. Okay, just the sequence of this and how it looks will be different. Okay, now we're gonna choose the default screen, which is here. Next, we're gonna click on the install button. When we see this thing, we need to accept the license terms. The image which I'm using will give you 90 days you guys to use for free. It's an evaluation mode. I'll click on the next button. Now there are two choices, either to upgrade or to install Windows. Now, when we're talking about Windows and other operating systems, there are versions of an operating system. So if we're talking about Windows 8.1, there are home editions. There is a version which is called Pro, and so on and so forth. Now, if I would like to go from the home edition to the from the home edition of Windows 8.1 to the professional version of 8.1, the process is called updating. If I would like to go from Windows 8.1 to Windows 10, the process, so a different operating system basically, The process is called upgrading. Now, since I don't have anything on my hard drive, I cannot upgrade. Simple, okay, logical. So what I need to do, I'm going to go to the custom and install Windows on. Now you see 50 gigabytes, which we designed and which will be taken gradually, and you click next. If you would like to delete and do something else, you could work here. Even you could load the drivers if you need something especially to be done. In most of the cases, you don't use these icons. Here, you click next, and you just wait the installation to finish, the machine to reboot. I'm going to show you something then. Once you rebooted it, you're going to be prompted for another 5 seconds you to click, so to start from a DVD or CD. You don't click, guys, because if you click then, when it's rebooted, what will happen? The installation will start over again. And then it will reboot again. And if you click again, the installation will start over again. And you might do this the whole freaking day, okay? Which you don't want. You just to install it once, and that's all. But I'm going to show it to you once we're there. For now, I'm going to stop the recording. So guys, as you could see, the Windows setup is getting to the end. I would like to show you now once it's rebooting. Actually, once it's rebooting, you're gonna see the screen on which you're not supposed to click, basically. Okay. As you see the rest here, it will restart. I could restart manually right away. Now this is the screen. Wait, this one. You don't click here because the installation will start again. Don't click. Just wait. It might happen several times. Don't click. Okay. Now, as you could see, the installation of the initial installation of the Windows 8.1 is just getting ready, and very soon you're going to be prompted with the installation, the internal installation. So setting up the name of the computer and the name of the user, plus the password itself. Okay, so it will be very, very soon. As you can see now, guys, the internal installation of the Windows itself starting. So the first thing we're prompted, once again, that would be in any operating system, but maybe the sequence will be different. So what we need to do now is to create the name of the PC. Well, I'm going to call it test 1. Okay, that's the name I'm choosing. You could choose whatever you want. Be consistent, use small letters. Okay, because the Windows operating system is not case sensitive. And it doesn't matter, but the Linux and Unix is case sensitive and it matters. And if you're going to work in a hybrid environment, it's better everything to be with small letters. The same with the username. I'll click next. I'll choose the express settings here. It's very close with the Windows 10 installation. It will be almost the same thing. Okay. Now, while I'm waiting this thing to finish, actually I could show you now whatever I showed you before. Here my KVM machine, the kernel virtual machine. If I click applications, system tools, virtual machine manager, that's a CentOS machine, what I'm seeing here. And here how the virtual machine manager looks. As you see, it's very similar to the virtual box. And if I click on one of these machines, let's say twice, basically I'm gonna see the machine itself. Here it is. I could right away access it if I would have want. If I click the username here and I put the password, if these are the proper one, as you see, I'm there. If I do a command, it will show me stuff. Okay, it will show me some things. Okay, so that's how it works, the kernel virtual machine, which I wanted to show you guys. So I'm gonna close it now because we don't need it anymore. And basically what you just get, actually, I would like to show you here that you get the movie. The first movie is here. That's the number of your group, IP telephony, today's date, and the hour when I made the first movie. The second movie, which I'm gonna stop in 2 minutes, I'm gonna put also there. So it's in your shared SMP share. Because I cannot access, I don't know what's the reason. As you see, it doesn't give me access to my TACFP site. For now, use the movies from here. In 5 minutes, you're gonna have the next one. So that's the movie, and you're gonna have in 5 minutes, you're gonna have the next one, which I'm just finishing. Okay? So you could start working. So to conclude with the installation of the Windows 8.1, now you have two choices. If you already have a Hotmail account, you could log in with your real Hotmail account. Now I would like to show you another way. which will give you access, if you remember, to the local user. So you're creating the local user account. So you need to click create a new account. Once again, you could use your real Hotmail account and the password, and it will work if you have a network connection, internet connection. But if not, create a new account. Now, you might create a new account if you are logged in, which will be a Hotmail account. I would suggest you to create a login account like in Windows 7 and Windows XP. Sign in without a Microsoft account. It will be very familiar, very close to this with Windows 10 as well. Click on this one, and you create now your local user account. So I could use the username. The username is good point, once again, to be with small letters. I'm going to put mine. You could put wherever you want. But it's a good idea to be with small letters, because if you're going to work in a hybrid environment, which means Linux, Unix, and so on, which are case sensitive, well, you never forget that yours are with small letters. I'll choose a password. For the client operating system, it will give you access to small one, to simple ones, which are not secure at all. The important thing is they to be the same. When you're prompted for a password hint, well, just don't provide anyone with this. Click something random, okay? And I'll click finish on this. Well, the password doesn't match exactly what I said. I need to match the password. And I'm not going to provide a hint. And I'll click finish, and my settings will be finalized. It will take a little bit of time now until the thing is done. Now, when you're using the VirtualBox, if at certain point you realize that your mouse is caught inside the VirtualBox and you cannot go there, with some of the Linuxes that happen. So what you do in that case, basically, you just click the right control. You see at the bottom it says right control at the bottom of the VirtualBox. So this is what exactly they say, the right control button on the keyboard. And this one, when you click, it will allow your mouse to go out of the box. Okay, it happens. With the VMware player, it's working with the left control and all together. But I'm gonna repeat it when we start with the hypervisor there too. Okay. So now I'm gonna stop the recording. By the way, when the machine is already starting the internal installation, what I'm seeing at the moment, I don't need anymore the CD, which is inside. I'll click on the settings. I'll go to the storage. I'll click on the CD. On the right side, when this one appears, I'll click on it and I'll do remove disk from the virtual directory. Okay, I don't need it anymore there. So here it is. And I could even delete my, well, you don't see it what I'm doing actually. Okay, so what I did on the machine, I clicked settings. I went to the storage. I clicked on the empty. I removed here from remove option. I removed the CD there because the CD still was there, the ISO image. Okay, and then I deleted the ISO image. I don't need it anymore. I put it in my recycle bin. As you see, guys, now, if I refresh this thing, you're gonna realize that the file now is called 605_IPTN. I apologize for misplacing your name, the name of the group. Okay, so I'm still waiting the virtual machine to finish the installation, and I'll show you what is the last action afterwards you need to perform, so your machine to be fully operational after this. Well, just wait another 5 minutes just to finish. Meanwhile, guys, if you have questions, please let me know. It was showing let's start icon, and now my virtual computer has been installed. Now, if I go and check in this PC C drive, users, my user profile, which is Danov in my case, and then go VirtualBox, virtual machines, and the name of the virtual machine. Now you're gonna realize I have an 8 gig, a little bit bigger than 8 gig image, which means something happened. You know, this guy has been installed. Now, if I would like to finish the installation, basically what I need to do are several things. The first thing, the most important thing, is to click on devices, click insert guest edition CD image, and then click top here to choose the CD image and run the VirtualBox Windows Edition exe. Now, this one is very important, like into the preferences, extensions like this, the extension pack. This is additional thing, without which my virtual machine won't work properly. Monitor this. If I resize the machine, If I resize it, you see it doesn't resize itself. Well, that's one of the things which will be improved when I install the guest edition. Other thing will be, remember when we chosen in the beginning the bidirectional thing. Well, this bidirectional thing won't be available until I don't apply this thing. So the guest edition is very, very important to be installed. In any hypervisor, VMware, the one which I showed you here, the vSphere and so on and so forth, there is a version of this guest edition thing, which is called most probably different. Okay, so once again, on any virtualization agent, on any hypervisor or host and wherever, you have something which is called kind of extension pack, maybe it's differently called, as well as when you install the particular machine, you have for the particular machine guest edition something. Once again, these are the names for the virtual box. If you use a different agent, it will be called differently, and I'm going to tell you how. Okay. Now, what is showing me now is a user account control, which I'm going to show. I'm going to click yes for now, and I'm going to accept it, and the installation of my virtual guest edition will be starting. Now, let me show you on the file manager and go to this PC. You see, it's kind of CD which I just got to my attached to my drive, which means I need to remove it after the installation. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this. I'll click next, next again, start menu entries, everything is okay. Click install. Now you need to install the guest edition in any operating system, meaning the next time we install Ubuntu, we need to install the guest edition. We install CentOS, we need to install the guest edition. For some of the Linuxes, the installation might be tricky. Okay, of the guest edition, we might need to do something before installing it, before clicking on devices and insert it. But I'm gonna show you how. If we don't know how, we're gonna Google for the particular operating system. Now, once this is prompted, you just click install on it, and you wait this to finish. Now it's prompting me to reboot. I need to reboot, but I'm gonna do it after. The next thing I need to do on my virtual machine, there are 3 additional things we need to do. We click on the start button, which we call charm, which I'm going to put on the top so to be easy to see. Charm button. I just write down here control. I don't need to go to the search bar. I don't need. I just start writing down control. And as you see, it's writing down there now. I find out my control panel. First thing, user account and family. Well, actually save system and security. And then I'm gonna go change user account control settings. Remember the first pop-up which we got. So to avoid this one to happen, we just scroll down, we click OK, and we do yes. And that was the last time we see this pop-up window. You don't do this in production environment, okay? We just do it here because it's a lot. The next thing, Windows Firewall. We click on the Windows Firewall, turn Windows Firewall on and off. So we turn off both of them. Once again, you don't do this in the production environment. You do this only in this very lab. Okay, so these are the 3 things we did. Then what we do, well, there is a 4th thing we need to do. Write down here again, update. And when you see the Windows update, this small icon, you click it. You do change settings. You be sure that everything is checked and install update automatically recommended. You do OK. And it will check for updates and it will start updating the system. And you wait until it's updated. It will take about several hours. Okay? For now, I'm not going to do it because I don't have time for this. But you need to do this. Then you just going to reboot. Well, we click on this guy here and we do restart. Okay? Now, I'm going to wait until it's restarted and I'm going to shut down the machine. The proper, well, it's not very proper shutdown, but the way you do it, click here, power of the machine, okay, and the machine will be powered on. And I need to go to my virtual box. I'll click on the settings. I'll go to the storage, and you see the virtual box addition is there. So I'm just going to remove it the same way as I remove my disk. That's the first thing I'm going to do. The next thing which I'm going to do here, guys, basically when I click OK, I'm going to close it. What I'm going to do, because my virtual machine now is ideal, guys. my virtual machine, which I created, I could use it right away. The only thing which I skipped for now is to have the updates, which will really do my virtual machine unique for the next 90 days. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to put here group. So I'm going to kind of organize it in groups. And this group, you see, it's just has been created. If I click on this crawler, it will hide my machine. I would put several machines inside, which will be related to the name of the group. Then I'm going to right click on it and I'll rename the group. And I'm going to call this group sources. Well, why I'm calling it this, that's the name I've chosen, but you're going to see the reason. Now I'm going to right click on the machine itself and I'm going to clone the machine, which means I'm going to create exactly the same machine like this, but instead of using 2 hours for that, which I just did, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to create it for 5 minutes and I'm going to start using it right away. Okay, now there are several things you need to know here. First of all, expert and guided mode. I would prefer using the expert mode again because everything is here. You need to do a full clone. Everything for the snapshots is okay. I'm not going to explain you what the snapshot is now. It's okay just to know. And you need to reinitialize the MAC address, which means the MAC address of the machine you're going to create. Let me cancel this. If I click on the settings here, I go to the network and I extend the advanced here. Well, that's the MAC address of my machine. Now, as you see, there is a small arrow here, which if I click, I could change the MAC address for the virtual machine. The process is called spoofing. Now, when I clone a virtual machine, if I don't click reinitialize the MAC address, the virtual machine will be created with the same MAC address. And if I start the both in the same network address, with the same network segment, which I want to do, I mean, if they have the same MAC address, the both machine will be having problem. Because we said, in the same networking environment, we don't start the machine with the same name, with the same IP address, and with the same MAC address. As well as for the IP address, we don't use the very first one, which is called the network address, and the very last one, which is called the broadcast address. We don't use that. Okay, so if these 5 rules are in place, okay, and we reinitialize the MAC address, and because we're using NAT network, our machine will be having a different IP address from the same network. The only thing we need to do after this is just to change the name of this machine because the both machines will be having the same name. Okay, so I could click clone now, and in several minutes, I'm gonna have fully fledged working virtual machine. And basically, I'm gonna use the clone machine from now on. And if something happened, I'm just gonna delete it, and I'm gonna clone my source machine again. Okay, so that's the way for the next 90 days I could produce fully fledged working Windows 8.1 machine for a couple of minutes and use them for as much as you need. Okay, it's very, very easy. You got me, guys, right? That's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna create for this machine when it's done. I'm gonna create a different group here, which will be, let's say, in use or working or whatever I'm gonna call it.